Quick hitter number 2 takes me to my day job at ESPN. Number 3, I'm sorry. My day job at ESPN. Earlier this week, ESPN held a first-of-its-kind media day at its headquarters in Bristol, Connecticut, where more than 50 multi-platform journalists from across the country were invited to talk to the network's most notable hosts, including yours truly. The gathering included myself as executive producer and host of First Take, SportsCenter host Scott Van Pelt, SportsCenter anchor L. Duncan, Get Up and new NFL Sunday Countdown host Mike Greenberg, and, of course, analyst Pat McAfee, host of the Pat McAfee Show, and a regular panelist on College Football Game Day. All of us are in the news, primarily me and Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee obviously expressed his opinion about the coverage he was receiving from the media out there. I got to tell you, you can debate delivery, presentation, whatever. What you can't debate was that he made some very valid points, because people have been coming at him from day one. They have been blaming him, and they have been trying to malign the show. And him speaking up for himself, I don't blame him one damn bit. He was right to do so. So let me get that out of the way. Number 2, as it pertained to me, and it threw out that I was throwing shade on FS1. I don't throw shade on my colleagues and contemporaries. I don't do that. I was asked a question about the competition. And what I did was point out, as I will point out to you over these airwaves right now, at some point in time, people are entitled to defend themselves against falsehoods. We talked about Undisputed at the time, which is no longer on FS1, being competition for First Take. Well, it was coming on at the same time as us, but in all the years we did the shows up against one another, they came within half our ratings twice. It was never reported. And when you talk about competition, I'm going to tell you why I bring stuff like that up. I want y'all to pay attention to me about something. And I want my team to look at me when I say this as well. If you notice, I never say I'm the best unless I say something like I'm the best, because I know I'm not. I'm constantly working towards being the best, and I think that gives me an edge. But for the most part, what I say to people is I'm number one. You know why I say that I'm number one, and I never hesitate to remind people of that? Because y'all never hesitated to remind me that I wasn't when I got fired. Everywhere we turned, Stephen A., quite frankly, ratings wasn't there. Stephen A. thought he was this, but he wasn't. So when I get to that point, I'm supposed to be quiet. I'm supposed to be quiet, Rashawn. I'm supposed to be quiet, Sherry. So in other words, when I'm quiet and I'm not winning, y'all get to bloviate about how I wasn't winning and I wasn't successful and I wasn't number one all that time. But since I've been number one, God forbid that I speak up. Hey, Rashawn, sit up in your chair when I'm talking to you, bro. When I was number one on First Take, how long was I number one before I ever said a word? We were number one since 2012. Am I lying? I never mentioned I was number one until 2018. I went 6 years without telling y'all I was number one until I noticed y'all would never say so. If it was anybody else whose ratings we doubled, tripled, or quadrupled on a daily basis spanning years, if that was somebody else, you would have wrote about them. How come you didn't write that about us? Oh, First Take in their competition. What are you talking about? Now, that's not me throwing shade on FS1. It's not me throwing shade on my colleagues at ESPN, because the only thing I think about competition is who's on at the same time as me. Who the hell else is on at 10 o'clock? That's it. To Emmanuel Acho and the crew, you'll never hear me speak against them. I know Acho. His brother works at ESPN, actually did a phenomenal job covering college football. I respect them. They're good brothers, and they've always been good to me. You will never hear me say a negative word about them. LaShawn McCoy. Come on, Shady. Come on, dog. You know me. That's my boy. We go back years. Keyshawn Johnson is going to be on in the afternoon. It's my brother. Michael Irvin, the playmaker. Do I have to remind y'all how I feel about these brothers? They know how much I love them. They know I don't want them to beat me. I'm going to try to beat them. But that don't mean I'm wishing for them to fail. Just like I was never wishing for Skip to fail. I hope Skip Bayless lands on his feet. I hope that brother got big time opportunities coming his way. I hope his career will span as long as he wants it to. He's the one that brought me on First Take along with Jamie Horowitz. I will never root against them. Jamie Horowitz is the man that runs Omaha Productions. That's my man. We're tight. I root for him all the time. He knows I'm building a production company, which is now called Straight Shooter, by the way. It's no longer Mr. SAS Productions. It's Straight Shooter Productions, okay? That's the name of my production company now, Straight Shooter. They know I'm coming, but it ain't for me to root against them. I hope they're going to be all right. I got nothing but love for them. I saw Emmanuel Acho on the air the other day on social media, and what he said, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. I'm going to always try to beat my competition. I will never root against people that I got love for and I care about. I just root to win. I don't root for other people to lose. You see the difference? I hope y'all can comprehend that and understand that. And as far as my colleagues, I'm there for all of them. Pat McAfee need me, I'm there. Scott Van Pelt need me, I'm there. L. Duncan needs me. Greedy, my man. Oh, my God, is he going to do wonders on Sunday NFL Countdown. Mike Greenberg is one of the greatest top 10 hosts in the history of the business. Do y'all know that? Do y'all understand that? Mike Greenberg, Greenie, every time I think I could host, I watch him, and then I say I got a long ways to go. He is one of the greatest hosts in the history of television. I'm telling you what I know. I've worked with him for years. He is one of the greatest hosts in the history of sports television. Period. Bar none. Belongs up there with anybody. And L. Duncan is a star in the making. I'm adding L. Duncan to the roster on First Take. Look for her on Fridays for this upcoming season. Scott Van Pelt has volunteered to come on in the morning. You know this brother works at night, but he loves First Take. He want to come on and express his opinion. Pat McAfee's welcome to come on anytime he wants. Anytime he wants me on his show, if I got time, I'm there. We trying to win collectively. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. But be clear. I ain't going to apologize for winning, and I'm not going to apologize for prioritizing winning. That doesn't mean I want you to plummet and fall on your damn face. It just means that when all is said and done, I want to be the top-rated dog. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. I hear a bunch of people talking about me all the time. You don't know who I am. You don't know what I'm made of. There's one person I'll never root for. We all know who that is. Outside of that, I root for everybody in this business. Marcellus Wiley, I hear you talking smack sometimes. But I'm your brother that used to come on when you had your radio show. You ain't going to get me to root against you, bro. I'm rooting for you. Ryan Clark on the pivot, my dog, Swag Goo, Big Perk, and the rest of the crew. Why you think I talked about J.J. Redick? I'm not going to forget just because he's the Laker coach that man was working beside me on First Take, helping us build our profile and our platform even more. I will never forget what J.J. Redick did for First Take. And if he needs me, all he got to do is call, and he knows that. It ain't going to stop me from being critiquing and calling stuff as I see it, but I will always root for him. Always. You don't like it, get the hell over it. That's how it's going to be. That's how it's been. And that's how the hell it's going to stay.